afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this actually beautiful Detroit day. It is so nice outside. I hope winter is gone, right? We just spring forward. I'm a little bit sleepy because I lost an hour. That's my reason for what happened. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Sophia. Hi, everybody. My name is Gracie Xavier, and I'm going to be your host this afternoon for this wonderful poetry reading with our friend, our sister, Miss Sophia Chue. Thank you for being with us this afternoon, and we're not going to keep you waiting anymore. We're going to get started. We're trying something new today because we are also live in studio. You can't see the audience, but their beautiful faces are here. Say hi, everybody. Hi. So we're also doing it live on Facebook and also here on Zoom. So we welcome you all and thank you for spending this beautiful afternoon with us. We have another special guest before we bring Sophia onto the stage, because I'm a friend of Sophia, and I know, being a child of immigrant, we're all trained to be doctors, lawyers, and engineers, and very rarely can we cultivate our creative talents, right? If we want to be an artist, if we want to be a singer, an actress, our parents look at us and they're like, oh, and what's the other job? That's like your side hobby. So sometimes our secret passions don't really come out. Hobby. So sometimes it's the Zoom life we're living right now. Zoom life, grow with it. So our side hobbies don't necessarily come out. So it was, as long as I know Sophia, I did not know this about her, right? That she was a poet, and discovering that has been a real joy, because once the floodgates are open, she's just been knocking these poetry books out. So it's really wonderful to celebrate this moment with her. So, but I also want to bring up a friend of Sophia who's really been helping her cultivate this talent and really present what her passion to you all. And this is Mr. Bill Strong. Bill is visiting us today from out of town. He's an editor from Cleveland, Ohio. That's far, right, Bill? Yay, welcome, Bill. We started as a corporate friend, and they've known each other for a while now, and now they're having fun working on this, what I call passion project of Sophia's, right? Which is her poetry. So I really want to welcome him as our first guest to the stage. Sophia has all the wonderful books lined up here. I'll show you guys, but you can't see them. But Bill, welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, I'm excited to talk to you because I've known Sophia for now like 5 years, Sophia, since I've known, and I know her as this corporate, no holds bar, I don't play kind of entrepreneur. And then to find out she has this, I know of her son Choker having this really wonderful creative life, but I didn't know she was a creative gem. So how have you worked with Sophia to help her cultivate this talent and passion?
Well, one of the things is that I work with her on the corporate side, and we do a very good job at that portion of our life, but I found that she's a lot more than just the corporate side. So when I start looking at her poetry, one of the things she asked people to do was to look at it and be subjective and give her feedback. Well, a lot of times people will say, oh, it's great, but they really won't give you positive feedback. I gave her positive feedback. There was a connection, and ever since then, I've been gently pushing her out there, and she's been doing an excellent job. And I'm very, very proud of her efforts, and it's all her. I'm just the one that nags her.
And that is great, but we all want to know, because I think all of us have this secret thing we want to birth into the universe, but we're crippled by that secret little monster called fear and anxiety, right? So how were you able to help her push past those concerns or challenges to actually birth what now is like 8 books?
Okay, in our real world, we deal with engineers, and you know engineers are different. Okay? So there are times when we need to help each other get through those issues. And she started reading some of her poems to me. And I'm like, this is fabulous, especially during the times that we're living now. Everybody needs to have something as a relief. Everybody needs to start thinking more about positive things in love. So when she started reading some of these to me, again, she said, well, I was writing a book. So then we looked at the book, and the book was great. And then she said, okay, I need you to give me some feedback. And we started working together, and one book led to 2 books, and 3 books, and 4 books. And then not too long ago, it had been a while since she had put a book out, and I'm like, okay, it's time to put another book out. And each book has a different flavor, and it addresses some of the different issues that we all have. A lot of times people don't know how to express them. She does a good job of doing that. There are times when I run into frustrating scenarios and I'm trying to figure out how to respond, and I'll think back to book 2 where she discussed it, and the next time I see the person I'll say, here's your response.
That's really, really good. So in regards to publishing a book, that's a big challenge, for me at least. I think I got 1 or 2 inside of me, but I don't know how to bring that out. So can you explain to us, the people here and the people at home, if they do want to self-publish a book, what are some of the steps to doing that?
Well, there are a number of ways to go about it. What I would always suggest to people that are trying to go into a different endeavor is talk to the people that are doing it. Most people that are doing something like this would love to help somebody else, because we live in a society where we, the creative people, believe in passing it on. So there are a lot of things that you're going to run into, and the only way you're going to find those out and how to address them is going through somebody who has already gone that path. So what we do is we are trying to find out whatever your skill is. If you're trying to be a singer, then we will contact people that do that and say, okay, you need to start working with this person. I mentor people, she mentors people, and I think anytime that a person is successful at anything they do, they will tell you there's been a mentor behind them to help them get where they're at.
Well, I love this because every Sunday I start with a mastermind group. And I don't know if any of you out there have ever heard of Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. That's a book I recommend for everybody. Before The Secret, all these other books, it was Napoleon Hill. And his theory is he interviewed about 20 of the richest men of the time, right? And one of the things that was consistent that he found out was every single one of them had a mastermind, someone that they can ricochet their idea, bounce their idea with, that supports them around the way. Some of us, it's a sponsor. Some of us, it's a friend. Some of us, it's a mentor. Sometimes we have to pay, we want to pay for it, a coach with somebody who has the expertise. But it's never fails that anybody, whatever endeavor you're doing, is having that mastermind, that's somebody who can cheer you on and coach you through. Now, you can't tell everybody your stuff, right? You gotta be honest with yourself, right? Is that the right person that I need to go to? And if you don't have it in your circle, there's definitely now with the internet, even Clubhouse, that you can find some of the experts in the area to help support you in those dreams. So if you had advice for anyone out here who has a secret passion, you've worked with Sophia and you've coached other people, what is the best advice you have in regards to taking the jump and taking the leap?
The thing that you must understand is that anyone that has ever tried anything and been successful, they have had some failures. And if you have a failure, that's just one step toward the ultimate goal. Along with coaching Sophia, I coach A basketball. So our basketball players, high school girls, have a number of failures. And one of the things that I've always told them is that if you want to play for me, there's one thing that you have to do, and that's called make a decision. Because if you come down and you take a stupid shot, it may go in, we might get the rebound, we might get fouled, something positive can come through it. But if you just come up there and don't do anything, they're going to steal the ball and get a layup. So you have to make the decision. So if there's something that you want to do or you're interested in doing, make the decision and do it.
I think I'm still stuck in the make the decision part. But I know that is the most important part, is when you are trying to achieve anything, you have to trust and have faith in yourself to take that leap. So I so much want to thank you, Bill. You came all the way out of Ohio today. How long's the drive?
It's about 2.5 hours.
Any last advice you want to leave us with?
Follow your dream.
That's it? That's all you got? Follow your dreams. So that's a lot. That's a lot. I'm just teasing. But thank you so much for joining us and definitely supporting my friend, Sister Sophia. We really appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. I know. Ooh, I love this audience. We're going to keep that for when we, social distancing is out and we can actually touch and love on each other. Thank you so much, Bill. That was a nice way to get us started, because when you're going to bring somebody phenomenal like Sophia on stage, you kind of need to plan it out, right? You can't just boom. You got to gradually build up to get ready. Open your mind to receive the force that is Miss Sophia Chue. I met Sophia about 5 years ago. So for those of you who don't know, I'm not from Detroit, okay, but I'm Haitian, and I've lived in all the Haitian strongholds, right? So Miami, even did a stint in Atlanta, and came from New York before I moved to Detroit. And I work for this organization called Global Detroit. And every Haitian, like, depending on whatever culture you are, you're always looking for your tribe, your people, your food. That's the first thing. We gotta find the food and stuff. So my boss, knowing that I would have a desire and a need, was like, I don't know where the Haitians are, but I am going to introduce you to the Caribbean ambassador of all ambassadors, and you're gonna find every Caribbean person you need in Michigan. He didn't say in Detroit. He's like, in Michigan. So I'm gonna introduce you to Miss Sophia Chue. And once he did that, let me tell you, the doors just open. I know where all my Caribbean brothers and sisters, including my Haitian strongholds, and she has been an ally, a friend, and a sister ever since. So I would love to bring this wonderful self-published author, poet, business entrepreneur, and coach, Sophia Chue, to the stage so we can get to know more about her and the process. By the way, she's looking fabulous, and I feel a little underdressed. You look beautiful, Sophia. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
My mother made the outfit, so she put me on point. She made it when she came in the summer, and she asked me the last time I had an event, she said, how come you never wear the skirt I'm gonna make for you? For folks to understand that, how come I didn't wear the skirt that she made for me? So I promised her that the very next event that I had, I would be wearing my skirt.
Okay, so can you stand up so Mommy can see it in Jersey? See that, Mommy? Woo! Very. I will be borrowing it, just so you know, Mommy. All right, Sophia, I want to get started, and I want to start. Let me see if I remember which was the first book.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and this happened last year. So, Sophia, we all know you in some realm, shape, or fashion, but this is a new introduction to you, because I don't think a lot of us knew that you were this poet. So tell us a little bit about your journey to getting here.
So my journey is like they say about Jamaican people, we have about 10 or 12 jobs. My journey is from way back when. I was one of those children that read everything that my hands could get. And my mom encouraged that. But I was, again, one of those children that always read at the wrong time, like at the dining room table with the book on your lap when you should be eating. Back then it was like Mills and Boons and Tiger Beat magazine and everything that came out I read. And I've been journaling for as long. So what happened was, I've been writing for an awfully long time, but I normally keep the thoughts either in my head or in a journal. I've never shared it before. So folks that are extremely close to me know that I write, but they've never seen anything that I've written. So I have a tattoo on my arm for when my father passed. So he passed in 2017, and I realized at that point that if I'm going to do me, I have to do me now, because my dad just left me and he didn't get to see this part of me. So I had to become fearless with living. I started traveling on my own without any little baggage. And one of the things that transitioned after that too is my younger son, Christopher, decided to move to California. So now I was heading towards, what do I call it, emptiness syndrome?
Emptiness. You had a big emptiness.
So after being a mother for 2 boys for an awfully long time, when you're sitting at home with nobody there but you and your thoughts, what do you do? In my case, I write. And I started, because I've been trying for years to write, but it's like I could never get the courage to just let it go. I'd write it and I'd leave it in a book, or I'd type it up and I'd leave it on the computer. So I was talking to Bill about it. And Bill was, why don't you just write a book? So I reached out to some other people too, and because, I'm still not gonna take that leap, because I gotta do it right. I gotta learn how to do it right, and I don't like surprises. So I reached out to, and it's funny when you take that leap, how the divine just kind of opens some additional doors for you, and folks start asking you questions now, and it's like the answers are coming to you. So what happened was I decided, Gracie, here's what happened. You remember that event that you invited me to, that woman's event that Tati and some other ladies were at? Mm-hmm. So we went to this event, and part of it was this mind shift concept. How do you get from your head to living what it is that you want to live? So we talked about making plans for your next step. And I decided that, you know what? I have this tattoo on my arm. I have a lipstick named Fearless. I'm doing and thinking all these things about being fearless, and I have to act. Because unless I act, it's gonna die in me. And I wasn't ready for that to happen. But I did have a meltdown in May. I was sitting on my couch, and I didn't know where to go. It was like the dark moment. This was, COVID had, and I'm a socialite. So COVID had happened, and I couldn't go out. I was locked in this house by myself. What am I going to do? So I reached out, I typed a text, and I swear to you, before I even hit send, my girlfriend called me, Loraine. She was one of them that provided a review for the first book. And before I could hit send, she called me. She was like, what's going on? You sound really sad. So we talked through it, and I told her what I was planning to do, and she said, well, at least try it. If you don't try it, you'll never know. So I tried it, and had conversations with folks. How do you publish? What is it, your first step you should make? And of course, there's all these companies out there that will publish your book for you, but you have to pay them a whole lot of money, and you still have to give them your information, right? So you have to compile all the poems that you're writing in the way that you want them written and send it to them so they can pick it apart, and then you have to pay them for all that. I said, no, I'm a little smarter than that. So I had to find all the poems. They were on computers, they were in notebooks, they were on my phone, they were all over the place. So I compiled them together, and this is this first one. I said, I'm gonna be a big girl, I'm gonna publish it myself. It costs a lot of money. So this, I think I had a mentor, Barry Clay, that kind of, he helps you, he's a visionary. So he helps you with your dreams and then teach you how to step out of, like, he'll push you off the ledge, but he won't let you fall. So he said, well, if this is what you want to do, why don't you just take a chance on it and see how much the printer will cost you to get it done. Child, when I tell you, when the printer tell me how much it costs, child, when I tell you how much they told me that it was going to cost, I rethought it. I was like, this is way too much money for just this little book. But I did print like 5 of them just to see what they would look like. And I liked the concept of it, but it was a financial challenge that I could not risk at the time. So another friend of mine said, everything that I research about book lead back to self-publishing. Why don't you take a look at self-publishing? So I was like, okay, did some research, and so this is what it turned out to be. I published via Amazon, so it cost me a lot less. I don't have to worry about the shipping and delivery kind of a cost, and it helps also with the marketing portion of it. So it helped me to realize my dreams. My hope is to eventually have my own publishing house that can help additional poets and writers moving forward. But you know, you have to step out there. You have to take that chance, and sometimes you fall down, but you gotta get up, brush yourself off, and keep on moving. And I have a host of friends and family that just supports me to no end. One of the reasons I chose Gracie to assist me with this today was because she was at my first private poetry reading. Did somebody unplug the thing?
No, we keep on moving. The
Yeah.
show goes
Sorry.
on.
So can I put this down here because it's
Yeah.
crazy? So Gracie was at my first private poetry reading. I decided to get outside of my head and outside of my book, and to have people give me feedback. That was scary. Feedback as to how my poems hit them, because I know what my thoughts are when I write them, but how do people react them? Is it something that people want to hear? Is this even really talking about? Or am I just this person that has so many words, I don't know what to do them? So if I find that out, I can continue to write them and keep them for myself. But if this is something that can help others think about, you know, or put into words some of the thoughts that they have in their head, I thought it was worth it. So I invited 10 of my friends, including I have Basila and Nadine that I've known for probably 25, 26 years. And these are folks that I trust. These are, when you talk about your close circle, your inner circle, these are the people that I know would be honest with me, because I don't like fluff. I don't like people that are hypocritical. I want you to be honest with me. Even if you don't like it, tell me you don't like it. So I know I either continue down this path by myself and knowing that you don't like it, or I change, tweak it to make sure that I'm reaching, or I'm saying what I want to say, how I want to say it. So some of the feedback from, and I want you to talk to this, some of the feedback that I had from the first book reading, and if you guys know me, I'm Jane of all trades. So I plan the stuff, I prepare for the stuff, I write the book, I have friends that do the flyer, I do the marketing myself, and then I come to the event and I set up the event myself. Okay, so I'm a control freak. I set up the event for myself, and then I have somebody that forces me to talk. But once I start talking, you can't shut me.
I know. Friends.
So it was to me a daunting task to bare my soul in front of my friends. Can you imagine how I feel now? So I want Gracie to speak a little bit to the event, and thank you again for always supporting my craziness.
That's why I had to find my keys.
You needed to find them anyway. So I want Gracie to talk a little bit about the event itself, the poetry reading event, the first one.
It's not working. So I have those voices that don't really need a mic, so that's a blessing. I think, first of all, I was very nicely surprised to find that Sophia was releasing a book. But when she was releasing the book, the first thing was she was not going to have a opening event, right? Because if you know Sophia, and this is with love, she's very outgoing on a lot of things. But when the microscope comes to looking at her and what she does, so sometimes she's very reserved about that. She doesn't really want the spotlight on her. She wants the spotlight on you. So it was like, you know what, Sophia, we need to have this. We need to do this, blah, blah, blah. And so she invited some really close people. And it was very intimate. It was very lovely. And she read the poems. And I think we all were like, oh, okay, this is you, Sophia. You know, you letting us it was a very trusting atmosphere because she was sharing very intimate thoughts. And then to discover that she has written these 20 years ago. These were not new poems. These are things, that's what we're talking about. We all have these secret passions. Sometimes we don't know when we're not comfortable, either with fear or whatever it is, to jump. And for her to take that jump, I think everyone in the room were the right people to be in the room for that first one, to really cheer her on and offer what she said, constructive criticism, because she gave us all a sheet to give feedback in regards to how did we feel about the poem, all of these things. And I think everyone, and she had a talk back, which you, if you're online or here in person, we will leave room for you to ask questions. So type your questions in the chat. I love how I did that. All right. So Sophia is somebody I admire a lot, and I know I'm the artist, so I'm used to, like, you know, I wish I could be like Sophia in a way, because Sophia is both an artist and entrepreneur and very structured. And I think for all of us to get to that next level that we're looking to elevate, especially when you're left brain or right brain, is to find that perfect balance. And I think in doing this for yourself, you found like that perfect balance in her life. So I hope you cheer yourself when you're not with us for having the faith and the strength to lead, because there's a lot of secret singers, poets, photographers, artists sitting among us who's not that brave to come out. But so self-publishing is a big, I know you talked about the research and all of those things, but can you tell people the actual steps to self-publish? Because I think people think it's just, you know, oh, I got the book, how long did it take you from that idea of I'm gonna do this book to doing the steps to where it was finally printed?
So there is 2 parts of it. Bill talked earlier about finding something or somebody that you want to emulate. So what I did was I looked at other poetry books and other writers to see how their stuff flowed, what parts and parcels go in a book, how does it set up, what parts that I have now that are missing that I needed to add. So it really, the first one takes you a long time, because you have to figure out first, what template do I use? So there is this author, he's a Haitian guy. I told you guys about him here.
You know you're asking the wrong person. Why are you putting
So
me
I
out?
looked at his poems, and they were similar to how mine are set up, right? Because mine are free-flowing. There's no structure to them. And I had to find out that you have to be okay with what you're putting out. what you're putting out is not necessarily like the next person. So you can't compare or contrast your stuff against somebody else's. Just do you. And you hear people say that all the time, but it's the happiest you're going to be is if you just do you. So I looked at different poets and different poetry books and see how they were laid out. And then I took that as my first step. I worked with Word. So all my work is in Word, and it's easier for me to manipulate. I use Google and YouTube University.
YouTube University.
How to add pages to some pages, but not to others. And also how to lay out the book the way you want it to look and feel. And then, once I did that, you have to learn how to organize the poems in the book. Like Bill tell you, the first one that I gave him, it was just a bunch of poems. It was, I thought they went together in a certain way, so that's how I presented it to him. But he said, no, the way these are laid out, you actually need more than just poems in the book. Put them in chapters or put them in different sections. And you can name those too. So you can name one said passion, one said love, one said, you know, self-preservation or something like that. So he helped me organize the poems in different categories. Once you do that, you have to give it to an editor to go through and grammatically look at everything. More than just what Microsoft Office picks up. How does it read? Should this line break into the next line, or should it just free flow like that? You know, so how do you want your audience to read it? What do you want them to get from it? So you're back and forth with that for a minute till you're comfortable. And then even before you publish, I would suggest that you print it, you look at it, make sure it looks the way you want it to look, and then read it. Just read it again. And it may take you a while to get through it, because once you see what the idea behind the editor was, the way it flowed, it lays out. Is this still how you want it to flow? Because it's your book. You know, it's not Bill's book. Although Bill has guided me, I still need to be the person that makes the ultimate decision that I'm okay with what it looks and what it sounds like. And then after that, you trust Mr. Amazon to print your book. So what Mr. Amazon does, it gives you a specific template to lay out. So you kind of follow those steps. And then you have to put together a cover. So they also give you different templates to pick up for covers, or you can create your own. So I take liberties with that part of it, because I am not creative like she is, but I've seen those works and I know what excites me, right? So the first one I had to own. I had to go to a place where it's mine. And it has to be me, because I can't hide anymore. I have to be okay with it being me. And I may be judged, but I'm okay with being judged. And I prove that because I put me on the front of it. This book, when I tell you this overexposes me, this book, there were some, this was my challenge. This was the one I told you I wrote over 20 years ago. That I did not realize what love was, or loving somebody outside of your kids was, until I read the book in an entirety. Because it took me a while to write them down, and then once you write them down, you leave them, and then you write another one, and then so once you put it together, I was like, damn. So even when I read the poems now, I don't. So you go into, how can I explain this? There's like an out-of-body experience when I write. So I write what's in my head or what's in my heart. And then when I go back and read it, I'm like, who the heck wrote that?
Yeah, I can see that.
You know? So when you're in a zone, you write how you feel. You write that flows with you at the point, and then when you go back and look at it, you're like, wow, that's the kind of mood I was in at the time. I hope somebody else understands when they're in this mood. This is what it really feels like through my words.
Okay. Well, I know we talking and stuff. They're gonna get a see. If you were in the audience, you would be getting some of this good Caribbean food, but you can live vicariously through us because Alcina hooked it up for us, so they're enjoying food while listening to this. But they don't want to just hear us talk about this. I think people want to experience this, right?
Okay.
So do you all want to hear some of this?
There we go.
All right, we snap at poetry reading. So I'm a graphic designer. So for those people out there who are self-publishing a book, the last question I had was, how do you protect your work?
So one of the things you have to do is you have to create a company. Legalize it. It ain't just weed you legalize. Legalize your business too. So
not just the weed, you gotta legalize your business.
Right. So you form an LLC or a corporation. So you own what it is that you create. So everything, you get an EIN. So you start a business really, and you are your business. So if you need help with that, you can reach out to specific attorneys that are designed to help you with that. And if you need that information, you can put it in the chat or something, and I can help you with that process too. But one of the things is copywriting and owning your own, because you don't eat. Although I may use words that other people use in other poems, they are my words put together my way in my poem, right? So even if somebody takes the liberty of using your words, you can't, what's the term that they use? It's an American term. Huh?
Plagiarize.
Yeah.
Plagiarism.
So, you have to be open to other people using some of the work that you do to express themselves. But you don't want people just to take your book word for word and say it's their book. So you have to own your stuff. Legalize it. Make sure that it's yours. So when you write your books, you copyright it. And there's also a part in here that says that all rights reserved, no part of this can be, so on and so forth. So,
yeah, you copyright your words, your book, and then you trademark your logos
right.
and things like that. And luckily, we're in Michigan, so there is an actual trademark office here that you can actually, now it's COVID, the appointments are virtual, but once things open, there is an actual trademark office here in Michigan. I think it's the Warren, in the Warren office. But, Sophia, we did not come here to just talk. We came here to experience some of this beautiful poetry. So I wanted you to maybe start with some of the first things. Give us one or two of the first, samples off the press, and then maybe move into your latest book.
sure.
All right. So I am going. This is it, right?
Yeah, we can use that. Yeah.
This
I just
one?
wanted as an example to see what it started out as and what it grew into be.
Okay. So here we're going to take a few minutes for Sophia to impart on us some of her beautiful words. See, I wish I had a saxophone so I could.
I'm working on dub poetry. That's coming next. So one of the poems out of Sophia's Book of Love that means a lot to me, and it's very evident in the room today, is a poem I wrote called A Home Built by Friends. With a foundation as strong as my friends, this house will never fall. With walls of eternal trust and friendship, I will be forever wrapped in your warmth. A roof of power and strength will shelter me in any storm. Inside, I will decorate with the differences and similarities we share. This is the charm that will forever hold our friendships in eternity. And this poem is actually about building a house or a sturdy home out of friendship. So everybody that's in my circle is a part of my home. So I don't see a house as a physical structure per se. I see it as a home built by friends. So this is the book too that have some see, the folks that know this book have some stuff in it.
Give us one of those stuff.
All right. Okay. So this one is called "You Hold the Key to My Heart." You hold the key to my heart. Embedded deep within me is the arrow of love you shot into my soul. Your thoughtful gestures stroke the embers of love into an inferno no water can quench. Every thought of you brings a smile to my face and warmth spread throughout my core. Our solid relationship brings comfort to me when I reach out. Sorry, let me reread that one. Our solid relationship brings comfort to me when I reach out and you're not there to touch. Every moment you have dedicated to making me feel loved is replayed in my subconscious when I go to bed knowing that you're not there to keep me warm. My body cries out for the touch of your hands and the tender kisses you give so generously. My heart and soul gently remind me that you're mine even when you're not in my presence. I eagerly await the next time we meet, the sweet torture of your hands on my flushed body, your heated kisses on my neck, my back arching in anticipation of your rigid entry to my sweet loving. Our meeting will reinforce what my soul already knows. No one can love me like you can. No one can treat me the way you can. After you, there's no substitute. I only want you.
Very grown. So, do you want to read one more out of that one and then we start with your latest book?
Okay, so this one here,
was one that you
manhood.
read.
There's
Yes.
manhood. I
Mhm.
don't remember where manhood is.
Grown.
Can we do that? Let me see if I can find that one.
That's okay. I know.
Oh, here it is.
I know it.
Who want to read it? Oh. This one's entitled Your Manhood. When I think of your manhood, I can taste the nectar as sweet as honey. I can smell the essence of your being. I can feel the pulse of your life. I can hear the rhythm of your heartbeat. I can see the power of your ancestry. I envision the beauty of your strength. My senses are overwhelmed with the power of your manhood, standing straight in his glory, holding court as he so gently but firmly makes his intentions known. I crumble humbly at his beckoning, releasing all my inhibitions to ride with him to glory, soaring high above the sky to the place only he can take me, exploding into 10,000 pieces as intense as lightning. Gently, he guides my return to earth, ensuring my safe homecoming to the warmth of his tender embrace.
Big up, no. This has been wonderful because You can hear me. See, I'm giving her the stage, but you all still hear me. So, Sophia, this is, how long has this writing been, right? It hasn't been this long, right? It started when?
So
The publishing.
Yeah,
the publishing.
Bill. When did I publish the first one? It should be in the front.
Wasn't
it
it
took me
last
like
year,
6
right?
months, man.
2018? 2018?
No.
No,
This
it was
COVID.
not.
This was it was COVID, man.
It was not 2018. Mm-mm. No. Yeah, it was last year.
No, this was looked like
It was published.
it was the beginning of
COVID.
it's May 2020 was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took me like 6 months to do 6 books.
Yeah, it was COVID. COVID birthed a
COVID,
lot
what?
of things. It was it's one of those mixed blessings. 2020 was rough on all of us, so we all pat our back, because it was rough in so many ways. But it was also a lot of the people birthed some really interesting things, because I guess the thing goes, when you are challenged and life gives you lemon, you make lemonades. And so I think people like Sophia did not, the best way, the healing journey she went through was to actually create a beautiful byproduct.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, she already, that's the thing though, once you unlock Sophia's doors, there's no putting anything back. So as you can see, she already published 6?
6 of them.
6 of them. So let's hit one. Let's get something from your 3rd or 4th book, right?
So this is the 4th one.
Okay. So let's read something from, maybe get 2 out of those.
Sure.
And just know the books are available for purchase. Let's support our sister Sophia.
Okay, so this one's called I Am, and it's volume 3. So this is actually a trilogy. I Am volume 1, 2, and 3. The earth under my bare feet keeps me grounded. The heat of the sun on my brown skin warms my heart. Raindrops on my head clears the woes of my mind. The sights and sounds of nature reaches deep into my soul and reminds me. It reminds me of my connection to the world. I close my eyes, inhale deeply, exhale slowly, releasing the stress. I am blessed. Okay. This one's pretty cool. This one's called Free to Love. Now, if y'all want to turn any of these into songs, let me know. I'm open to that idea. I actually have all this. It's funny how my friends are, right? You come up with a good. I did this for my son, so it's really interesting to have others do it for you too. So I told a friend of mine that I wanted to do dub poetry. So he was like, "What do you need to do dub poetry?" So I told him about the equipment and so and so and so and so. So all I have to do now is find the time to turn some of these poems and put music behind them.
Imagine you and Choker.
I know. I hope you're watching, Christopher. You told me you would.
I
That's
think he
my
came
son.
on.
Oh, he was on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's called Free to Love. I have listened to so many love songs about loving others. I have written so many poems about me loving others. It has finally seeped into my brain. If I do not acknowledge that I have to love myself before others, I will never be free to love. How do I define self-love? It is so much more than looking into the mirror and saying, I love you. I have to do the work every minute of every day. I have so many flaws. Are they real? Or are they just those created on perceptions of me that I have somehow convinced myself are real? Free my mind of mental slavery. I have to do the work every minute of every day.
Can we get one more?
Okay.
Do y'all want one more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Why I smile. The sound of raindrops as it hits the zinc roof. The tantalizing smell of the earth as it's being quenched by the refreshing rain. Moist dirt beneath my bare feet. Warm rain drizzling on my skin. Rays of sunshine caressing me. The spray of the ocean on my face and the lingering taste of salt on my lips. The comforting sensation of laying my head on a pillow full of feathers infused with the calming essence of lavender. That's why I smile.
This is very nice. So how do you feel when you're reading these poems? Because you get reactions from us, but we're curious. How do you feel?
Like reading in front of an audience now, I don't internalize it. It's just an action that I'm doing. When I sit at home and I read them, I get emotional. And I'm trying not to be emotional here.
Well, I love it. I think it's a very trusting space. So you're among family, so
Yes,
we're
I am.
enjoying ourselves. So what is your latest book? And can you share a couple poems out of your latest book?
Okay, so the latest one, I did this a little bit different. I'm growing up. Actually, a friend of mine, Ryan Montague, is an amazing visual artist. If you take a look at my website, sophiachue.info, he created that website for me. This beautiful banner over here, he created that for me. The cover of this book, he created for me. So I gave him the idea of what I was looking for, and he gave me a couple options, and this was the one I chose. So big up, Ray. Big you up, big you up, big you up, big you up.
All right.
So love abound to me is love in abundance. Love all over. Just love, 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 love. I love
really feel like the Wailers should be playing right now while we listen to you.
I know, right?
Or the still pond. What's this?
I know, Aaron. Where is he?
Aaron.
So the first one is, loving you is easier if I let me be free. Free to fly high above the trees. Free in spirit, mind, and at ease. No chokehold and expectation of whom I should be. My worries laid to rest, with my head on your chest. Feeling your breath and your heartbeat in tune, as we listen to love songs and cherish the afternoon. Wrap me in your arms, embrace me with your charms. Is the tender moments like these, experienced in the warm, salty breeze, expressions in love I see.
Oh, definitely. That's definitely a song. that one's really a song right there. I see that one. All right. Is there what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite? I know it's hard when you have a
That's
lot of
why I
children.
normally ask if you guys have, some of the folks that have my books, if there's any poems that kind of hit you differently that you want me to read. I do have books up here if you guys want to grab them and kind of choose something. I like interaction.
Does anyone have questions for Miss Sophia from the audience, from the online, our family online? I see Jenny, Robert, who's JM? Rachel, and I see some people online, Yvonne, and the beautiful people. Anybody have questions for Sophia before we wrap up? And she reads one last beautiful poem. Yes.
Not quite a question, but a statement. Your abundance of love that you show in all your poems, such a light in this time that we need it. It's just so loving that we just need it so much.
Thank you.
So keep going.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know, because we'll be watching you on Ellen one day. So that's beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else have?
Yes. I know you said the first book was a lot of things from like 20 years ago. Are the other 5, 6, 7 books, were those all recent stuff, or were those also things from the past as well?
These are actually recent stuff. So here is in my mind, this is how I kind of keep them organized, right? So these were my growth stages, 1, 2, and 3. So if you noticed, not if you noticed, but like these are my growth stages.
What do you mean by growth stages?
Right, in finding out who I am, right? I had to first embrace where I came from. I'm from Jamaica. I'm from downtown Kingston. I'm from a place where they say if you come from Raytown, there's only 3 ways you're gonna leave. You either drown at the seaside, which was at the end of the street, go to General Penitentiary, which is a prison right next door, or go to the madhouse, which is at the other end of the street. So the fact that my mother gave us the strength and the ability to pull ourselves out of that neighborhood, and I had the opportunity to come to the U.S. to live with my father, that I always struggled with my identity per se, because even when you come to the U.S. as an immigrant, a black immigrant, you're, that's when I found out I was black. It was when I came to the U.S., because I always thought I was Jamaican. And then when you come here, you kind of struggle with your identity, because who you thought you were, they're telling you that's not who you are here. So these were the processes that I went through to kind of, at a recent time, figure out that I was always that person that I was before. So how do I regain her? So it started out as a little girl to where I am today. So that's how I came up with these. And a lot of them are like insight into my life, or insight into my growth, and you can kind of see almost at a snapshot where I was at that time when I wrote this particular thing. So, and that's why they're so personal to me. Like I can wake up in the morning, I was telling Gracie, we had a great session this morning, because I felt like I was under the cloud for like all last week. It was like I just had this heavy feeling the entire week, although we had sun a lot of the days, right? And then we had this mastermind session this morning, and I swore it was like I just woke up. It was like the light just opened up. My life just felt good. So I actually wrote like 3 poems today. No, I'm not going to read them, but I actually wrote 3 poems today. So where you hear people talk about writer's block sometimes you just got to get out of your own way. And that's what it was. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. So do you want to read us, it's coming to time,
I know you're trying to eat.
No, it's 5:45,
Okay.
I want to eat too. But I would love for you to leave us with, some really wonderful, make us feel gooey inside like marshmallows. Can you leave us with a couple gems? They're all gems, but leave us with that
This one I'm gonna leave you guys with this one, and a lot of my Caribbean people and Jamaican people will understand this, so I can explain this to you guys. I dream of days gone by, playing dandy shandy in the streets, sighting the stuffed box ball with newspaper and edges dented not to maim. That's how we do it. Skipping ropes in the yard, 1, 2, 3, and Lulu. Sucks up juice dripping from my mouth as the heat from the sun melts it faster than I can swallow. Blackie and Julie mangoes ripe just for the taking. Tambourine balls dipped in sugar, sweet enough but not too sweet to rot in my teeth. Walking is the order of the day. From Raytown to school is the only way. School shoes polished and shiny on my feet. Uniform pressed crisp and hair comb real neat. I dream of the days gone by that has made me into the person I am today. Yeah. I am a survivor.
Oh, this was so beautiful, Sophia.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us and letting us into your space with this beautiful afternoon. It's been a while. Y'all. We might be seeing some light at the end of the tunnel with this thing. Is there any last words you want to leave our family on the digital space and in here with before we wrap this reading?
My last words are thank yous and blessings to everybody that has spent any time with me. I want to thank Anton for providing us with some bickle today.
Oh, there was one question online. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
How do you know when you finish writing a poem?
How do I know when I finish writing a poem? My mind says the end.
Ooh.
So it's a feeling.
That's a poem itself. My mind says the end.
It's a feeling. And that's one of the things is when you write, you have to trust your gut. Because although you may be writing for others to read, you're the one that's writing. So you have to feel it. And you can tell a true writer or a writer that writes outside of themselves when you read the words. Because it hits you some kind of way.
That was beautiful. And that is the end.
No, I gotta thank Alcina. I gotta thank Gracie, Barry Clay, Bill Strong, PCI for putting up with my craziness more time. My mama. My siblings, because we all kind of nuts. And so that's it. My sons, my Christopher and my Marcus, they're the ones that allowed me to be free. Because they have come into who they are. And once I saw them do it, I was like, well, I can do it too. But big up to everybody that has touched my life in any way. Nadine and Bosilla helped me raise my kids. Thank you for everybody that tuned in to watch.
They said, shout out to the children from the inner cities of Jamaica and Holy Family
Holy Family,
Primary
Alpha
School.
Academy. What can I tell you? Jamaica that raised me. People them from South Florida that put up with me. Whole lot of people to thank. Whole lot of people to thank. I want you to follow me on Facebook,
Where do they
Sophia
find
L.
you?
Chue, on IG, Solo Chue, SOLOCHUE. My website, sophiachue.info. I have a blog. I ain't gonna tell you it's daily, but I do add poems and quotes to both my IG and my
Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah, me have YouTube too.
And what's your YouTube?
My YouTube, my name, I don't know.
Sophia Chue.
Sophia Chue. And this, I'm hoping we can get this to YouTube too. So I'm along a journey. I'm hoping you guys hitch a ride. I am very approachable and reachable. Just DM me. Thank you guys so much. Gracie, thank you so much. This means the world to me, just to be in this space. And yes, I did do this stuff by myself. So that's why I was kind of late at the beginning, because we had to figure out how to make it work. But thanks for your patience, for staying with the process.
Yay! Thank you. So to our beautiful family on Facebook and on Zoom, we are wrapping it up and want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon in the digital space. But we here live together are going to enjoy some more of this beautiful food. Good night and see you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So we do have drinks too.
So,
I have some.
How do you say it? Sharon. What I call it.
yay! Just finish. Bye-bye. Great job, Sophia. And you see.